so funny because, we do these videos and things like that. I had this conversation with a gentleman yesterday who lived in South Dakota, and he has VA coverage for everything. And he's turning 65 on October 5th, and he hasn't applied for Medicare, he hasn't done anything, but he was referred over to me, and he goes, do I really need to take Medicare or not? I have VA coverage, why would I need Medicare? And he goes, well, speaking of which, Medicare just sent me an email too, so they know that we're on their website. Great, that's sketchy. Big brother, thanks Bezos. But it turns out the closest VA hospitals are 250 miles opposite directions, and he's in between them. And I go, well, what happens if you have an emergency? You can go in an ambulance. He goes, well, I'll tell them that they'll want to be taken to a VA hospital. And I was like, whatever his name is, I was like, if you have a heart attack, they're not going to pull out their GPS. This isn't Uber. You're not putting in a destination they're going to the first one they can get you to save your life.
Or he may be in a state where he can't talk.
Exactly. And it's kind of one too where it was some video that I don't know I was watching. It was asking people about like their professions and things that they wish that they would tell other people, and it was an EMS worker and a first responder, and they go, look, we don't care, when they're doing bodies and stuff like that, they're like, look, we don't care if you have narcotics in your system, we don't care if you have alcohol in your system, we don't care what is in your system, because guess what, we're not trying to incriminate you here for what is in there. Our job is to save your life. And if you have been doing, contraband, illicit drugs, we need to know that so we can prep for it and help save you. But if you're too afraid to think that you're going to get in trouble just because that you are on these illicit drugs, we don't care. It's our job to save you. We just want to know. That's it. And it's kind of in that same realm too for him. It's you're 250 miles both ways, and there's a hospital 2 streets away from you. And you're going to tell them, don't worry about it, take me to the one that's what, 4-hour drive probably? 3-hour drive, even with sirens going, realistically, covering 250 miles?
So in regards to that, I thought that if that were the case, they were VA and they did go to a civilian hospital, that the VA will pay and come pick them up and take them to their VA hospital.
That's
Correct.
true, but what will happen is, for example, if they had a heart attack, the moment that they are able to be transported, they may not really truly be into shape to be transported. As soon as that person is able to be transported, they're going to kick them out and take them to the VA hospital.
But in the meantime, they're racking up all those bills, and they still have their ambulance.
Well, and for him, his thing, we won't get too deep into this here.
Yeah.
We might a little bit here because we got some time. But I told him, I was like, look, you're turning 65. Kind of the story I told you guys about my parents when they retire, when they didn't think about the city that they're looking at. The closest specialists are 30, 45 miles away. And I go, that's fine when you're in your 60s and when you're in your early 70s. But once you hit your 80s, if y'all are still there and I'm still here, I'm going to have to come down there and drive you guys, or you're going to have to get Ubers to your doctors in Corpus Christi because they're just not close. And for him, I just kept asking. I was like, you say you're pretty healthy. Okay, I get it. He is kind of one of those old vet guys that's like, yeah, I'm pretty healthy. And we're like, you probably have a few things that you need checked up on, but you don't want to get them checked on type of situation. So telling him and really framing that for him, that's like, look, sure, you don't need it. Absolutely, you don't need it because you do have coverage through VA. As long as you go to VA hospitals, everything like that. But anything that you don't do that is not VA, you have to pay everything. And it was really simple because I made him write on a sheet of paper. Instead of do on the left, write part A, on the right part B, I go, on the left, I want you to write VA, and on the right, I want you to put Medicare. Okay, skip a line down between those. Now I want you to write over here, VA hospital. Okay, and then write down civilian doctor. Okay, let's go to the VA column. You go to a VA hospital, how much does it cost? And he's like, nothing. And I say, okay, so you're covered 100%. Got it. Okay, let's go down. You go to a civilian hospital, how much does it cost? Everything. Okay, zero coverage for that. Go over to Medicare. VA hospital, 0, 100 for civilian. Showing him that was my quick on the spot little piece of paper thing that's like, you're not comprehending what I'm trying to tell you. Because all you know and all you've ever known is that I have coverage through the VA. I'm good. I don't need it. And we're going to get to this kind of train of thought here about midway through. But because a lot of people, they don't think about stuff like that. They don't. Mm-hmm. They don't think. I'm getting riled up now too. But.
Well, you know, there's so many different levels with VA coverage as well. There's so many layers, and what do you have? And there's been legislation allowing people to go to civilian hospitals. And it's mind-boggling. What do you have in regards to your Medicare? You have TRICARE. Generally, the VA wants you to take out Part B because that's off them, gets you to pay for some of it, regardless. Plus, it gives you that extra layer of coverage that most people need. And that's really what it comes down to, is convenience. I always ask people, how far is it to your VA? I got to drive for 3 hours. It's a whole day ordeal just to get my drugs. And that's what it comes down to. You have to paint the scenario, the what ifs, What if you get a heart attack? Okay, what's going to happen there? And what's your exposure? And again, with the different levels of VA, I don't even know, there's Champ VA, you've got TRICARE, you've got regular VA, and how long have you been in the service? You have more higher level. It gets pretty complicated. And I'm not that familiar with all the different levels of VA, I have to admit. But generally, taking out Part B is a good thing. It's gonna help you a lot.